So obviously we have, back by popular demand, Christina, who is water nerd, scientist. She does a lot with our content and um, support. So any questions regarding science or water quality or anything like that, go to Christina. So we're really excited to have her on today. Um, and yeah, we're going to be talking about something that we get asked a lot at Hydroviv. And that is all of the like residue discoloration that can happen um, with water when it comes in contact with different surfaces. That's probably the best way to describe it. So just for a little bit of context, the things we're going to be talking about are like that white chalky residue that's often left behind on like stainless steel cookware, and then like the pink slime that can kind of creep up in showers, and some other interesting, not necessarily aesthetically pleasing residues that can just kind of happen with water. So we're gonna get right into it. So yeah, let's start with the white chalky residue because I think that that's probably the most common. And so for me anyways, stainless steel cookware and like shower heads and faucets are probably where I see like this like white chalky residue. And it doesn't really matter how much they're cleaned or wiped down, it just always seems to come back. And they're just kind of annoying, obviously. So I guess I'm just kind of wondering, what is this? Like, what is this white chalky residue? Is it safe? Is it okay to, cook with cookware that has white chalky residue on it? So Christina, I'll let you take it away. Yeah.
Okay. So the white chalky residue is minerals in the water, and it's calcium and magnesium. And it's a buildup when it, kind of adheres to your stainless steel cookware. It's because it comes out of solution and it kind of just gets cooked on. The water evaporates and what's left is the minerals that are in the water. So the amount of minerals in the water differ from parts of the country to other parts of the country. Harder water, you're going to get more buildup, and we hear about that in support too. People are saying, oh, there's all this buildup on my faucets and all of, yeah, and that's also lime scale is like on a bigger scale. People say there's lime scale and it's getting into their pipes and stuff. It's minerals. It doesn't harm anything other than it's just really annoying. If you need to take care of it as it's coming into your house, talk to Culligan, as far as water conditioning or water softening. But if it's just, as you're cooking and it's something that you see in your, teapots or even just water spots on your glasses and stuff, that's all it is the calcium and magnesium. It's, once the water evaporates, that's what's left. It's unsightly, it's annoying, but really I joke about it being a first world problem, because it's really not a big deal. I know sometimes you'll get like crystallized stuff in the bottom of your tea kettle. Same thing. It's like when you boil it, it kind of concentrates those minerals and then it kind of comes out in the crystalline form. Just toss it out. It's, it's not harmful. It's just,
Okay.
it's just there.
Just there. Yeah. Any tips for how to get rid of it?
Oh, so with cookware, you can actually remove it like if you do a vinegar water mixture, the vinegar can be used to take it off. So if you've got really hard buildup on your pots and pans, just use a 3-to-1 mixture of vinegar to water, and then fill it up to the point where you've got the, the buildup. Heat it up until it's just about to boil, and then let it cool to the point where you can then use it, scrub it, and it should come right off.
It's a good tip.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. So hard water is when there is just more minerals than normal. Soft, those minerals are not as prevalent. And that can actually change how water feels on your skin too, right? Soft water, absolutely. Typically you feel like you have to shower for longer. Yeah. So it's just interesting.
Exactly. But it varies from place to place depending upon how many, what the content of the minerals are in the water. But it's definitely not harmful. And in fact, having calcium and magnesium, I mean, people take calcium and magnesium supplements. So having it in the water is actually, unless you have a medical reason why you need to not have that in your diet, it's normally okay. But obviously, if you have a health issue, follow the advice of your health practitioner, absolutely.
Awesome. All right, moving right along. This is also one that we get asked in support quite a bit. And it's that pink slime that can accumulate typically in showers, but it really occurs in areas of your home where there's a lot of moisture. And so it's that pink slimy, gooey, gross stuff that, for me, it doesn't matter how often I clean, it just always seems to come back. And it's usually right around the drain of my shower or in the corners of my shower. That's typically where I'm seeing this pink slime. And so what is it? Is it mold? Why does it always come back? What is that pink slimy residue?
It's actually caused by a bacteria, and that bacteria is called Serratia marcescens, and it, when it grows, it stains pink. So that's why it looks pink. And it's, so it shows up in my previous house, it was in the showers, it was in the toilets, it was in the sinks. It is airborne. And so you can't filter the water and have it not show up. It shows up after. So one of the pieces of advice I was reading when I was researching this was, they said, if you are showering and you have a window in your bathroom, don't open that window, because do not open it, because more Serratia marcescens, which is just airborne, it's just out there, could come into your bathroom. So they say keep the windows closed, but open the vent fan, the exhaust fan, so to try and keep it dry, to try and keep the environment in your bathroom dry. So Serratia marcescens in general is not harmful to most people. It's just, you don't want to touch it. It doesn't hurt you, but don't get it into an open wound. It can, it's a bacteria. Infections can happen. So just when you're cleaning it, just make sure you wear gloves. It has caused more serious issues in a hospital environment. But in general, when it's in your home, it's, just unsightly and annoying, but there are ways you can, deal with it. So you had noticed that it is in the moist environments. And so one of the best ways to avoid having it show up is, or to reduce the amount of having it show up, is after you've cleaned it, just keep it dry. So squeegee out your showers, make sure those corners are dried out. Keep, if you've got a shower curtain, wash it regularly. If it's machine washable, make sure it's washed regularly so you don't have buildup of the bacteria. normally you can just scrub it off with a standard bathroom cleaner, or a baking soda and dish soap will do it too. Just make sure if wear protective gloves, so you're not risking getting an infection or something like that. After you clean it though, disinfect it again using bleach, because that will slow down the return of the bacteria. It makes it a less hospitable environment. So you clean it and then you disinfect it, and then you just make sure you keep it dry, and then just continue to keep it clean, and it should keep it at bay.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's really good advice. Okay, so just so we're covering all of our bases, I want to talk about actual like water discoloration.
Mm-hmm.
And so actually this morning, a city in Arizona reported that, the water might be cloudy this entire month, and then stated that it was like safe to drink, whatever. But I want to talk about, some of the more unsightly discoloration that can happen in water. So like the yellow hue, or even like a brown hue of water as it's coming out of your faucet, it can obviously be extremely alarming. And so let's dig into what that actually means. If it's safe, if we should avoid drinking it, let's talk about what causes the actual water to become discolored.
So when it's yellow or brownish, there could be a number of different things. And also when it's cloudy, similarly, it's most commonly, it's probably some form of sediment. I know that happened to me every time in my neighborhood, they said, oh, we're flushing the fire hydrants, and stuff like that. And then I'd turn on my faucets and it'd come out brown. After a while, it flushed out and it was fine, but it was sediment in the water. It's unsightly, and I didn't want to drink it, so I just flushed it out until it was no longer an issue. If it is sediment, water filters should be able to handle it in most cases. You'll have, depending on the size of the sediment, size exclusion, so you have some kind of a filter, should be able to mitigate some of that. So that's one kind of cloudiness, or a lot of times it's brownish, but there are others as well. It might be brownish or reddish, could be rust from the pipes, iron or steel pipes. There might be some corrosion somewhere upstream, and so once again, rust particles would be filtered, should be filtered out. Some of it might be dissolved in the water. The other thing that I was hearing about, especially in more of a drought condition, out west, people were complaining about it's sort of a tan colored, brown colored water. It's tannins. So tannins in the water, not harmful. It's the same stuff that's in your wine that causes, that bitterness, the tannins. It's just not very pretty. But the tannins are not harmful, but it can affect the taste. And there's not a whole lot we can do about that. You just kind of, I guess it's okay to use the water when there's tannins in it. But there's, the water treatment facilities, there's not a whole lot they're able to do with it. And as far as I know, I think if it's dissolved, it's not really something a filter is necessarily equipped to remove.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, tannins in wine is like it's a thing that people note all the time. It can be a good thing. So
exactly, it changes that flavor profile. It helps define that flavor. So but that's what causes the brown in the water. But there's other colors that show up in water, not as commonly, but there's other colors too. It was like, as I was looking into it, there's like a whole rainbow of things that can show up in your water. Not always a good thing. So there's blue or green. So if it's like a blue-green color or more of a blue color, it's most likely caused by copper. Copper pipes, if there's corrosion in the pipes, it can cause a buildup, and you can kind of see it like at the bottom of your sink,
Or like around the faucet, right? Like a
or around the
blue
faucet.
green
Yeah.
crust kind of.
Yeah, sort of a crusty. So that's a buildup of copper. Something to just look out for. If it ends up being a lot of it and it's a continuous issue, you might want to just have a plumber take a look at your pipes, or have your water tested, because lower pH of the water can cause corrosion, which can, make the, can corrode the copper pipes or the metal pipes. So that's just something to look into if that's happens a lot. So it's normally not an issue. There are certain medical conditions where too much copper is dangerous to your system. There are some people who don't metabolize copper. So if that is an issue, then definitely, first of all, see the doctor, make sure that's addressed, and also make sure that the pipes are addressed as well. So that's the blue and blue-green. If it's just green without the bluish, some wells might have algae, built up in it, and that can cause a greenish hue in the water. Definitely, if that's an issue, you want to have that dealt with. So yeah, those are things that you want to take care of. And then finally, this was the most interesting. I actually had somebody contact us, and he said, my water is coming out pink and purple. And yeah, I hadn't heard of that prior to it, but it actually is potassium permanganate, which is used by municipalities and also in some situations for private wells, because it deals with the hydrogen sulfide that's in the water. So it's to make the water not smell so sulfury.
Oh, that like rotten egg smell, right?
Exactly. But if there's too much of it, it will stain the water pink, or if it's like way too much, it'll come out purple. So if that's the case, if you have a private well and it's coming out pink or purple, you might want to once again contact Culligan for more of a whole, a solution that to help with the water as it's entering your house.
Yeah.
A whole house solution for something like that. If it's coming from your municipality, I would definitely be in touch with them and follow their guidance on that. So anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting. There's a whole rainbow of things that can happen to your water, but we don't want them. We want our water to be clear.
Yeah. Yeah. And even on that note, there are a lot of contaminants that we can't see that don't, come out of the faucet purple or brown or whatever.
Exactly.
So that's also something to keep in mind. Those contaminants you need, water testing, or you need to look at what your municipality is reporting. But
yeah, to be honest, most of what we talked about is not as scary as the things that we usually talk about, which are, contaminants that you can't see, smell, or taste.
Yeah.
But the health effects, the long-term health effects, are just really, really scary. So lead, PFAS, arsenic, chromium-6. Yeah, you can't see, smell, or taste them, but definitely you don't want them in your water. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, I hope that everyone learned something with Christina here. And I guess just to kind of summarize this all up, I think especially with like the white chalky residue, it's safe. You can still cook with that cookware. You can drink water out of your faucet that has white chalky buildup. That's probably the most common thing that we hear at Hydroviv in terms of like a water residue or water, discoloration of our faucets and stuff. So I think that that's kind of what we want to end on, is that, just as you said, this category of things that we talked about today are way less scary than what we usually talk about.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm glad that we were able to kind of let everybody know this whole range of the rainbow of things that can happen in your
Yeah.
water.
By the way, I see that there's a question that just came in, and
Oh, yeah.
is bottled water okay? And I know you wrote an article about that because
Yes.
it's not a simple answer, but I thought, before we sign off, that if you wanted to touch on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we're doing a live next week or the week after on bottled water.
Oh, perfect.
But yeah, but just kind of a brief little summary of that question: is bottled water okay? It really depends on the circumstance. So, if you are in an area where there is a boil water advisory, you have super high levels of lead, and you don't have a filtration device that is, NSF certified to address that, then yeah, bottled water might be a good option for you. Other than that, bottled water has less regulatory standards than tap water. So bottled water companies don't have to disclose where they're getting their water from. And it is oftentimes the same source as a municipal water supply. And yeah, I would just say tune in whenever we do our live, either next week or the week after, and we'll go really in depth as to why bottled water isn't necessarily a long-term solution for a drinking water issue. So yeah, we will leave it at that. But as always, you can DM us on Instagram. You can also email us at hello@hydroviv.com, or go to hydroviv.com and use our live chat feature. And again, any of our science or water quality related questions will go to Christina, and she will provide a very thorough answer to exactly what you're asking. And we actually love answering these types of questions, so
Yeah.
feel free.
Yes, we love this stuff. We're
Yeah.
passionate about making sure people know about their water. So yeah.
Yeah, totally. Well, awesome, Christina. Thank you so much for joining us, and she will absolutely be back. So stay tuned for those lives coming up. So yeah, I hope everyone has a great rest of their week, and thanks for tuning in.
All right.
See you later.
Thanks, Analies. Bye.
Bye.